and I'm going to go talk to some of the creators and artisans from Crafty Mart. Crafty Mart is putting on a Mom and Pop show this weekend in Akron. Mom and Pop's because it's Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up, and they want you to be able to get those one-of-a-kind presents for your loved ones. But I also hear it's a very laid-back, music, food, coffee, and even drinks kind of way to spend your day. Let's go talk to them.
The Mom and Pop shop is this spring's version of Crafty Mart. Crafty Mart is an Akron-based, Akron-centric craft show, arts and craft show with local artisans and crafters in this area. People that don't really have their own shops, but maybe they'll have an Etsy site. So they don't have really their own business, but they need some sort of venue to sell their art and their crafts and the things that they make. So Crafty Mart was started a few years ago by myself and my friend Juniper Sage. We had met at her record store, but I kept running into her in Cleveland at arts and craft shows up there, things like Bazaar. And I would see her selling her stuff, and then I'd come back to Akron, and I'd see her in Akron, and we started to talk to each other, and I said, why doesn't Akron have a show like this? Why do we have to drive to Cleveland to see all these Akron artists? It doesn't make sense. And she agreed. So we said, we need to start one. And a year went by, and we said it again, and then we actually started to do it. So it took us about a year to actually start to do it.
My name is Mary Bethel, and my shop for Crafty Mart is Quite Contrary Goods, and I'm going to be selling pet-related items for pet parents, because the theme of Crafty Mart this year is the Mom and Pop shop, and I didn't want to leave out the four-legged. So I'm going to be selling handmade toys and accessories, and also gourmet dog treats. I have been a vendor with Crafty Mart each year that Akron has had it, and each year it gets bigger and better. I think it's important for people to experience coming to a craft show like this, because they're going to find things that aren't mass-produced. They're going to be original, and they're going to be able to actually talk to the people who created them, which is something that consumers don't have when they walk into a chain store or a mall.
Do a good job of making sure there's a variety of vendors and a lot of different kinds of crafts and arts to be had. It's very laid back. It's a little bit more intimate. There's time to go through and kind of look at everything and meet everybody and get to know the vendors a little bit if you want, as opposed to like some of the larger craft expos where it can be a little overwhelming. Crafty Mart and Mom and Pop shop are a little bit more homegrown, and they feel a little bit more intimate and a little more friendly. This is a piece that I'm going to have at Crafty Mart's Mom and Pop shop. It's an example of the stuff that I'm going to be selling. It's all, well, for the most part, it's all baseball kind of related images, sort of graphic works, and some of them, they're all collage. Some of them use parts of old baseball cards that I had growing up as a kid, and some of them just have other kinds of ephemera, and some of them are just sort of colored paper. I'm a baseball fan, so I guess they have meaning, if you're a baseball fan. Hopefully they're attractive images and have some connotation to the game for you.
There's going to be stuff for everybody there. There's we have a new vendor this year. He makes full-size guitars that are like Fender guitars, but they're actually birdhouses, and you put them in a tree, and when you see them in a tree, you're like, what's that guitar doing up in the tree? But they're really neat. There's all kinds of things. We have somebody that makes like a little fake dissectable frog, but it's all felted, and you pull it apart, and there's purses, and we have a lot of people that make jewelry from repurposed things, so they don't just go out and buy metal and make it. They find things that they make it out of things that they found, so found objects. We have a kid that last year was in high school, and he's in art school now in college, and he made tote bags last year, and I loved them. They were pictures. He had taken photos of the blue heron nests down in the valley, and he had silk screened them onto tote bags. And that's such an Akron thing.
Even though I'm a vendor, I always shop while I'm there. And all of the vendors just have become friends over time, and we all just inspire each other, I think.
And you get to see, you know, what everybody is interested in, and people draw ideas from everywhere. So.
Well, sometimes we have writers there that are selling, who've written their books, self-published them, and are selling them. We have, but we do have fine arts there too. So we have printmakers. We'll have some painters that are there. The painters also sometimes do T-shirts too, which is it's interesting.
People can come, they can eat, they can drink, they can have a coffee while they're shopping. There's going to be some great music. It's just going to be a really fun atmosphere.
It's a fun event, and we work really hard on the ambiance. So we have a DJ that plays kind of old '60s music and soul. It's very mellow. The lighting's mellow. The music is not too loud. It's ambient, but it really adds to the whole feel of a good time. This was really good.